In this episode of the Hypixel Skyblock Ironman series, the plan initially was to grind some Enderman Slayer, but things quickly took a turn when a surprise April Fool's event dropped into the game. The event introduced several strange new items, like the Fudgment Core and Noisy Pearl, which the player discovered came from limited-time bosses. Curious, he spoke to a special NPC and was given a suspicious red gift, kicking off a scavenger hunt across Skyblock. The goal? Collect 9 unique and event-exclusive items, each obtained through different game mechanics. He began with Zombie Slayer in hopes of dropping the Warden art, eventually getting it after several T5 boss kills. Next, he jumped into dungeons and quickly picked up the second item from killing a healthy mob in floor 7, surprisingly fast. Opening gifts with a friend earned him the Snow Onion, and a failed dojo challenge dropped another item on the first try. Mini-boss farming in Crimson Isle led to multiple rare drops, including the ultra-rare Ragnarok Axe, making him question if drop rates were bugged. From regular mobs, he looted the ham radio, barely avoiding accidentally eating it. However, the nightmare truly began when he had to obtain an item that dropped only from dungeon chests, but wasn't visible in the chest. This grind took over 5 hours of floor 1 runs, pushing him to the edge of madness. To cope, he made comedic deals with Hypixel. If I get it this run, I'll grind foraging 50, or I'll run 1,000 M1s. None of it worked, until it finally dropped. The last piece, the Jerry helmet, completed the set, though he needed to collect another Fudgment Core because he used the first one. After some trial and error, he finished the event and collected all 9 items, even though they served no practical use. Still, the event was a fun and chaotic adventure, and next episode, he's planning to hit Skyblock level 400. Stay tuned. In today's round of the game show, players enter a quirky 2-player mode centered around the theme, sushi. From the get-go, the host playfully remarks, "You've got to admit, this guy's little setup is pretty authentic." As the round begins, the duo brainstorms how to create the perfect mini sushi chef experience to match the theme. Their competitors roll out a series of sushi dishes, sushi platters, sushi rolls, and even sushi feasts. But many of the entries lack originality. It's all feeling a bit repetitive, someone notes, as dish after dish follows the same pattern. However, one team draws attention with a salmon-based dish that finally breaks the mold, adding a spark to the otherwise predictable lineup. When it's the main duo's turn, expectations are high. Unfortunately, their entry feels similar to the rest. Even a heart-shaped sushi roll doesn't bring much excitement. Still, a sudden twist comes with the reveal of a natural icebox, surprising the judges and likely scoring extra points for creativity. That definitely earned them a big chunk of the score, one says. As the round concludes, everyone reflects on how important uniqueness and flair are, even within a set theme. While many tried to impress with quantity and variety, only a few brought something memorable to the table. The takeaway? In a competition where everyone's using the same ingredients, it's not just about presentation, it's about standing out. This round was all about vibes, specifically sushi vibes. And let me tell you, things got interesting fast. The theme, sushi. The mode, 2 players. The mission, impress the judges with creativity and flair. One duo stepped up with a confident plan. Build a scene with a mini sushi chef living their best little life. And honestly, not a bad idea. The details were spot on, earning an early compliment from the judges. This little setup, surprisingly full of personality. But the competition was fierce. Sushi platters, sushi rolls, even full-on sushi banquets started rolling in. One after another, the entries came, but soon it was clear. Most of them were blending together. "It's all starting to look the same," someone muttered. And they weren't wrong. While everything looked decent, the spark was missing. That is, until a salmon-themed dish popped up. Simple? Sure. But it had that little something that made the judges take notice. Then came the heart-shaped sushi roll. A cute touch, but again, not enough to break out from the pack. Just when the audience thought things were falling flat, boom, an ice-cold twist. One team brought out a natural refrigerator setup, using ice blocks in a clever way to present their sushi. That, right there, turned heads. "No way," a judge laughed. "They actually pulled it off." Big points were dropped, and you could feel the energy spike. By the end, the lesson was clear. In a round where everyone had the same tools and the same theme, it wasn't about who built the most sushi. It was about who made it memorable. Creativity beat repetition. And sometimes it's not about doing more. It's about doing different. So yeah, don't underestimate the power of a tiny sushi chef or an ice block fridge. They just might win you the game. All right, here we go. New round, new vibe. The theme is still sushi, but now it's all about standing out in a sea of rolls, rice, and raw fish. And let me tell you, some of these builds, questionable at best. First up, the classic sushi plate. It's safe, it's neat, but let's be honest, it's been done a lot. Then we got a sushi conveyor belt, which sounds fun in theory, but it felt like someone watched too much food anime and tried to recreate it last minute. Points for effort, but not quite the wow factor we're looking for. Then things got interesting. One team rolled in with a love sushi build. Yep, heart-shaped sushi. Cute, for sure. Original? Hey, we've seen it. But then another team took things in a completely different direction. Instead of just sushi, they built a full sushi restaurant scene. Chefs behind the counter, customers at tables, even tiny chopsticks. Suddenly, we're not just looking at sushi, we're living in it. Immersion level, 100. Then came the real twist. A team that somehow turned their build into a sushi showdown. Two sushi chefs mid-battle, rice flying everywhere, giant salmon slices as weapons. It was chaotic. It was hilarious. It was everything we didn't know we needed. And the judges, they were loving it. But just when you thought you'd seen it all, bam! One team dropped an ice-themed sushi temple, like full-on frosty aesthetic, glowing lanterns, and sushi laid out like sacred offerings. The execution? Chef's kiss. Literal chills. At the end of the day, it was a battle of creativity over construction. The best builds weren't just about clean lines or fancy details. They told a story. And in a sushi-themed competition, turns out the secret ingredient is personality. So remember, next time you're stuck building a sushi roll, throw in some drama, a backstory, maybe even an ice temple. Who knows? That might just be the dish that wins it all.